hope the police and the city will see that and won't come and take us away, and we'll be able to do that. But if they do, this is why we're making this proposal.
We need to definitely get questions.
That's it.
Well, we'll want to take a separate stack for questions about this if it needs clarifying. People have a question specifically about the proposal.
So
yes.
Actually, I've got a question and a suggestion. I'll just say them both together. Have you guys ever put tents up and what's happened? And then a suggestion, a way to maybe avoid, maybe a kind of a confrontation would be to put the tents up at night and take them down in the morning. And maybe you've done that.
Okay, I'd like to just address that directly. That discussion, some of those points that you're talking about were discussed, but what I want to just make sure that people realize here is that we're not going to open up the discussion. We decided as part of the proposal that we're not going to open up the discussion to the logistics of how we're going to do the action. We first need to decide if we're going to do the action, if we're willing to take that action. If the group decides that we are willing to take that action, then that group, those people that step forward and the support team of them will meet afterwards to discuss all the details, because there's no use discussing the details if the people decide that we're not going to do the action.
Okay. Any other questions? Did you get a stack? So,
yeah, I mean, he did ask a question that was legitimate as far as whether or not we've tried to put up tents, and we have tried to put up tents the first night, and we were told by the police that night to take them down. They had to come down.
I think you arrived a little later than we had started. So, any other discussion points specifically about the things that he has brought up? Okay, what we need to do is we need to bring up any other proposals specifically about the plans. So who's next? About this can't possibly be the only proposal. Okay.
Okay. The proposal that I would like to bring up is to investigate the possibility of acquiring a nearby building to use as a base, so that we can use that to rotate protesters in and out, and have a place to store all of this stuff, have a warming station, and it would give the people.
Can everybody hear him? I'm sorry. Everybody's okay? Okay. Keep going.
It would give the people that are not able to be out here in the cold something that they can do to better support the people that are. We have people looking into this, and I guess there's some buildings that need to be looked at, but I'm not going to get into all of that because that's the implementation phase. But I believe that being here in the square overnight is an important act of civil disobedience. I'm not sure if I want to fight the city over the tents. I wouldn't be unwilling, assuming we had the numbers. I just want to put that out there as a possible alternative to avoid that kind of confrontation.
We have a dark.
Okay.
Well, he's not done with his proposal.
Yeah,
we'll get to questions. Stick to your proposal.
No problem. To avoid that kind of confrontation and still be here and be a thorn in the mayor's side. Because, I mean, it's obvious he does not want us here. Part of me thinks he's waiting for us to put up tents so he can evict us. I'm pretty sure that's all I got on that. The rest is pretty well self-explanatory. Any questions?
Okay, we got a table of this idea. How do people...
Should I clarify that? Or?
Sure, clarify.
I just want to clarify that I think this is actually a really good idea, but I don't want to vote on it until we actually have specifics. I know that we've talked about there's a possibility, but we can't take a vote on a possibility if we don't have a solid lead on, yes, this building is something we can rent. And that's probably going to take some time to find out, but I do think that this is something we need to discuss in the future.
Okay.
Is it okay if I respond?
If you have a point, yeah, I mean, definitely.
As far as I understand, we do have the means to do this.
But do we have the building?
We have to look at the building. But I would like to see if this is something that the people would like to proceed on before we take and go through all of the time to do this. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we're going to have to look at buildings.
Okay, I know he had raised this way back in the beginning, so...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, with both of the proposals that have been discussed, the question comes up to me, is the bigger priority to have a confrontation with the system and directly confront the system, or is the priority to draw attention to this movement and get more people and entice people to what the Occupy movement is about in general? Because those are not necessarily always hand in hand.
That is exactly the same question I asked myself, sir. That's why I started thinking down this line.
Who's next on the staff?
That's a good question, and I would like to first address something that the gentleman here mentioned about his proposal. The reason, part of the reason we came up with the proposal we did last night as a recommendation to the General Assembly was because of the immediacy of the situation. It's hard for people that have not been spending the night here 24/7 to realize the immediacy of it. The feeling of fear and the feeling of being unsafe. So it's when you're, and we need to act fast because two things are coming upon us. One, and this would answer your question a little bit, the numbers are not growing, okay? And you mentioned about attracting people and so forth. The numbers are not growing, and we have been trying to get this movement to grow. We have 2,600 and some people on our Facebook page that like the page, and that's quite a bit. I mean, Occupy Philadelphia has less than 1,000, and they're a bigger city. So I'm just trying to, and we have our own Facebook site. I mean, our own Facebook site and our own regular website. We also have been in the news. People know about it. It's not like we're a secret. Still, we have not grown. Now, this is not for lack of attempt from us trying. But what we're saying is we need to deal with the immediacy of the situation. So if winter comes upon us and starts snowing and people are getting sick or getting pneumonia, or if somebody gets harassed in the park or beat up in the middle of the night, I personally don't think it's fair to put those people at risk to entertain, oh, let's just keep reaching out, you know, to try to get the things to grow, because they're the ones that are facing the issues here. The other thing I'd like to bring up in regards to your question about is it because we're looking for a confrontation with the system? I think that's how you phrased it. We are not here to look for a confrontation with anything, but we realize by being here there will be a confrontation, but not because we're here to look for it. Okay, there is a difference to me. We are here because we're fed up with the way the system is set up and doesn't benefit us anymore, and it benefits the people that are in power, and that's not the 99%. So we're taking actions into our own hands to exercise our freedom of speech, and one of them is to occupy a place. So we don't look at that as a confrontation, but if they choose to remove us, we are left with no choice, in my opinion, with this proposal, but to take a stand, which is a non-violent way. A non-violence is not necessarily, it's not necessarily a confrontation.
Again, getting back into your proposal, but we're really still on this one.
Okay.
You're extemporizing on your proposal.
All right.
We have heard it.
Thank you.
Gil.
I guess my amendment to his proposal is that we make an effort to have more tents here than people, so that people would come down, bring any tents you'd like to donate, to have set up here. We can set them up as quick as we can, as many as we can, to make a larger presence, to yeah, just have a larger show. We need pictures of it. We need to show that there's a lot of tents set up here. Another thing that would go along with it is, if it doesn't go through, both Taylor and I agreed that we would go on a hunger strike outside of the mayor's to basically strong arm him in a way to back us up, in a sense, or at least give us support, so that we would
clarify about what you mean the mayor's.
The mayor's. One government center. Sorry. We go outside of one government center, go on a hunger strike, and have a very clear, defined statement ahead of time of our demands. So we need volunteers for that, so that even if we do get arrested on, say, like Thursday, then Friday we would immediately go into a hunger strike, and just have very, very clear, defined message that we want tents at this place. This is very important to us, and we're willing to suffer for our beliefs.
Right.
Wait, you want to make
This would be stuff that would be talked about in the logistics part of the proposal. I don't think it's called for to be an amendment to the proposal.
Also,
okay.
Okay, I'll withdraw that amendment then.
also, I would not be unwilling to do what Amjad proposes, and possibly use the building idea as a contingency plan. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
We could work on that while we're taking his action.
Okay. So, anybody else on stack?
Yeah, I again to just address like some of those questions. I mean, just being here, we are confronting power, and obviously what has happened at the other occupies is that actions that have happened in that mindset have also brought out more people, have also brought out more noticeability, more coverage of what we're doing here. So while they may not be the intentions, I mean that they're in the background of why would we want to do this, you know, to bring more attention and to bring more people out. And I think that may happen, and that's what we hope for.
Anybody else on staff?
I'll pass.
Is there anybody here who would like to ask any more questions, or should we move on to the next proposal? Is there another proposal?
I have a question.
What? Okay.
Just looking